Welcome to the Rewild Gear podcast. Modern life, society, and responsibilities have domesticated us. But now it's time to rediscover your adventurous side. Whether that's camping, hiking, hunting, fishing, or just spending time in the great outdoors, this is the podcast for you. Join us as we get back to the wilderness and rewild. All right, we're back at the Rewild Gear podcast. What number is this? Is this 3, 4, 5?
4?
I don't know, something like
somewhere,
that.
give or take
I'm not
a few.
sure. Considering we're here and we're ready to rock and roll. All right, Dave.
Yep.
So welcome
do it.
back.
It's good to be back, man.
Hey, we're back at the Rewild cabin.
It's always good to be here.
We got a little snow this morning too.
Yeah, we did, man. And I've never actually been here when it snowed.
not?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I mean, it looks like something out of a winter wonderland.
Josh and I have been here when there's been quite a bit of snow, probably 4 or 6 inches or something like that, and did
Gosh,
a
that's
big
awesome.
hike around. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, nothing like hiking around.
Oh my gosh,
in the
yeah,
snow.
I know. It's good blood trails too that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully, we'll see.
So we're up here to do a little bit of hunting, like the very, very late season hunt. This is the last weekend
Yeah.
for bow season, and so far we haven't seen anything yet.
No, it's been quiet.
I've never actually hunted this late in the year.
I haven't either. And I mean, we kind of put this together last minute, really. But yeah, I don't think either one of us really knew what to expect. I mean, the woods are just so different this time of year.
Yeah, I mean we're way past the rut.
Yeah.
Deer, they're just they're bedding down a lot more and just
Yeah.
sticking to your food, and they're not running around like they are during early season.
It's just such a different time. And I mean, I don't think really either of us had much expectation of what to see. Just always good to get out.
Well, my expectation this morning is to drink a lot of coffee.
Which we're currently doing and enjoying
Yes.
thoroughly.
Yes, after some phenomenal eggs and sausage for breakfast.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
That sausage.
So that sausage was left over from a hunt that I did in Texas just over a year ago, and that was
yeah.
that was an axis deer, which in my opinion is the best venison.
It was so good.
so good.
I mean, even the way they seasoned it was delicious.
A little spicy.
Make some more.
Yeah, for sure.
Where in Texas?
What was the name of that? It was this little town. Actually, it wasn't even a town. It was a ranch. It was about an hour outside of Austin.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, because I flew into Austin for it.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun.
A ton of places out there.
Texas Hill Country, a lot of great hunting out
Yeah.
there. It was like 2,000 acres that we were on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was nice. I got a Sika and an Axis, and they both are delicious.
How far out did you take those? Like your shot?
Distance-wise?
Yeah, roughly.
The Axis was about 105 yards. The Sika was 75 or so.
Just such an interesting terrain out there. It's just so different from like hunting this area.
Yeah, back east is definitely.
Yeah, it's so different.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, we're not here to talk about hunting today.
It's too easy to. It's too easy to, man.
We could, for sure, but I think we want to talk a little bit about Rewild and where we're going, and launching a direct to consumer outdoor.
It's getting exciting,
company.
man.
Yeah, we're moving along. The first product, and the one I think we're all most excited about is the knife, the Gasper 4.
The Gasper 4,
as we're
official.
calling it.
It's official.
Let's talk a little bit about kind of the knife creation process and how we've iterated on that, and
the fun and obsessing project it's been.
Well, because the knife creation, that's kind of how this whole project got started.
Yeah.
Because we were sitting around a campfire multiple times, comparing knives and what we liked and didn't like about them.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
what
we've
do
done it for
differently.
forever. You know what
For
I mean?
years. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to think when we first kind of talked about this.
I don't know. It's been a long time.
I specifically remember, I think it was up at Red River Gorge. Me and Adam and Josh. I don't even think you were there.
Probably not.
This would have been somewhere around 2008, 2009.
Wow.
Maybe?
I would have been a senior or just finishing. Yeah.
Yes.
In high school. Yeah. A long time ago.
Maybe you were there. I don't know. This, but sitting around a campfire and just talking about knives, like, I like this knife. I would do this differently.
Right.
And then I remember like Josh and I sit on vacation one time. We were in Florida. We were talking about diving knives.
Oh yeah.
And how we would create our own and what it would look like in the materials.
The kind of steel you'd use.
Yeah, exactly. And then every time we're at deer camp, we're always sitting around the fire, drinking Jaeger,
and
comparing knives and basically in our heads creating our own knife.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where the concept came from. And like, hey, what if we made our own? And it's kind of evolved from there into a much bigger project.
A much bigger
but
process.
the knife is still kind of like the signature
it's like the
product.
flagship.
Yeah, the flagship
for Rewild
product that we're the most excited about and that we plan to launch with. So
yeah, it's been cool. I mean, just the whole process of taking this idea and slowly seeing it like come to life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been super cool just making these tweaks here and there and doing the 3D prints and,
I think all of us coming into this kind of had an idea about like a knife that we wanted to start from.
Yes,
kind of that was our signature knife or the one that we carried the most or really liked. What would you say was the place where you were coming from?
Yeah, that's a good question. When I think about a knife, it's something that I want to be able to use and enjoy using. So whether you want to say it's user friendly,
that means different things to different people.
Yeah,
though.
exactly. So, kind of my approach with it was, I had kind of these dimensions in my head of, how the length of the blade, the length of the handle, and really just honing in on that. And here's the thing too that's been interesting is something that I thought I would like.
Yeah.
Once we actually put it on paper or started designing it, it's like, oh, actually, I don't think I like it.
Give me an example of that.
Let me think. What's a good example? So initially, I thought I would like the handle a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as the shape or the contours or what?
Both.
Okay.
I thought I would like it a little more rounded than I actually do. And even just the contour, I thought I would like it less contoured.
So we've got some of our 3D printout models here that we can look at. So give me an example of what you're talking about.
So for instance, how this is pretty contoured to your hand. It's got, a really nice grip.
Yep.
And it has a little bit of roundedness to it, but not a ton. So it's preventing hot spots.
Yeah.
I really thought just from other knives that I've used and own, and I thought I would like a much rounder handle. But once I actually put my hand on this and we've kind of tweaked it and
honed it in.
Yeah. It's really nice. I mean, it feels really good. So I would say that's one. The blade profile has, I love it.
Yeah.
I think it looks awesome. Even just the width of it, it's got enough belly. So it's
so it can be a slicer as well as for carving
exactly.
or for whittling
or if you want to
basic
scan
camp
it.
tasks.
It's fantastic.
Because we should say that like this is a general all around camping knife that's good for so many different things.
It's just
basically we're trying to create a knife that is like a cross trainer, if you will, or something that can serve double duty for a lot of different things. It's not specifically a hunting or a skinning knife. It's not specifically like a bushcraft or or like a survival knife. It's a general all around,
all tactical knife.
Yeah, it's not. It's just a drop point blade, pretty much a flat grind, a somewhat of a contoured handle. So it's.
I think what's been cool too is everyone's perspective on it and just like shooting it back and forth of like, what if we did this? What about that? Just because I think each of us has a little bit different approach and a different perspective.
Adam likes them a little more outlandish. Might not be the most usable at times, but
that boy loves his knives.
Josh gets super nerdy about the steel.
Yeah.
He finds these obscure ones and like, what do you think about what was that new one that he mentioned?
Oh my gosh, dude!
I'd never even heard of this one.
Heard of it.
I'm like, dude,
I don't even know where it's out of.
I'm like, this is gonna cost like $100 just for like,
for
like half of the blade. I don't think we can use that one, dude. No, but I think from the beginning we were all pretty much set on S35VN because it is a super steel and it really marries all the different components as far as corrosion resistance, the hardness, the toughness of the steel and everything, and ease of sharpenability and how long it'll stay sharp and all of that. So from the beginning, that's the steel
I feel like that was a pretty easy.
I mean, we went back and forth on some other ones. Like I started looking at
a little
what
bit.
is it? LCN 2000.
Oh yeah.
No, actually, I have a Spyderco with this. LC 200N, which is very corrosion resistant, but it's a lot harder to sharpen. Because I have a Spyderco Salt 5 that I love as far as just a folder carry knife.
And that's like fantastic since you live close to water.
Yeah, since I'm near the water and stuff, it's it's great for that.
Right.
I don't love the yellow handle necessarily. I'd prefer a more neutral color because it kind of stands out too much. But but as far as like the steel, I like it. But for this, for a fixed blade, general outdoor camping, backpacking, hunting knife, using the S35VN, just it made the most sense. It did. It's going to be more expensive. That's okay because we're all about quality.
Yeah, exactly.
Quality over quantity. I mean, rather have a knife that's going to last a lot longer and not just be a throwaway.
For sure.
When we look at the different knives that, like my original question, as far as what knife was kind of the inspiration, like I've always been a big fan of like the SE3 and 4.
Yes. Yeah.
And I love that knife, and it's a great all around, do all camping, survival, outdoor knife. It can be used for so many different things. I've never liked the steel. The 1095, you can sharpen it easily, but it doesn't retain its edges long. It's really hard. You can beat it to hell and back.
I mean, SE puts a great coating on it.
They do, but I hate the coating because you can't strike a a ferro rod with it. And so that's kind of a pain. Also, like their handles, they're just flat.
Micarta.
Micarta's fine. I like that, or I don't dislike it, I should say. But as far as like the shape of the handle, like the lack of contour on some of those, it's just kind of flat and blah. And I feel like the blade is a little too tall. So I would say I kind of started from looking at that and how would I improve it.
Yeah.
And then from there, and as I started like researching other knives that I liked even more and finding like the Benchmade Saddle Mountain Skinner, which I really like. So then we kind of tweaked and added some elements that, as far as some of the elements of it.
Yeah.
And so we've kind of picked and chosen different elements from a ton of different knives that we liked and got rid of the aspects that we didn't, just to make our own, something that works for us.
I mean, this is a big scratch our own itch.
Very much so.
I mean, just from the design standpoint, but then, it's been a great excuse to buy a bunch of new knives and try them out. So
tax write-off for R&D.
Yeah, it's been a win-win all around.
Now, obviously, Adam and Josh aren't here with us, but what knife do you think that kind of was their perspective on starting from?
That is a hard prediction.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Adam has so many knives.
And they're all very different.
They're all very different.
Like mine are all kind of follow the same style. It's really clean aesthetic, drop point blade, usually like a flat grind, or maybe a convex grind. I just like them clean and nice and easy to use. And like, I used to like serrations, but I've gotten away from that.
I know. I haven't.
It's good for some use cases. But
I have a few knives, but over the years, I'm similar. I've kind of drifted away from it.
It's just harder to sharpen them.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Josh, something technical with the steel, I would say.
As long as it's an expensive steel he likes.
I don't know. That's a hard that's a hard go on that one.
I know Adam's always been a fan of like your more outlandish knives. A lot of like the ones
you like some of the tactical stuff.
Yeah,
and
some like the Tops knives or Battle Horse knives. Some of those, like some of those that are a little bit more like tactical survival-esque, I guess.
I think it's a safe assumption.
Yeah, Josh is kind of all over the place with his, I think.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's what's been fun, though, is just taking everybody's input on it. I mean, because I really like traditional knives. Yeah. Like, I like the old school.
You've always been big into more of the bushcraft.
Knives. Like the Kephart design. I mean, I've always been a fan of that. And even the, forget his name, the other blade profile I like a lot. George Washington Sears.
Oh,
yeah.
Nessmuk.
Yeah. So I've always liked kind of the older style. So it's just been cool getting to kind of marry the new with the old with this, and just getting everyone's input on it. It's been fun.
Yeah. The interesting thing is the sizing of it. So trying to find the correct one, because you think more like a survival or bushcraft knife. A lot of times those are a much larger knife, but that's not very good, especially if someone wants to everyday carry it, or if you're doing fine work, especially like if you're using it for hunting or like a skinning knife. That doesn't work so well. And so, but then also if you want it to be really good for that, you need a much smaller one. And so then that's not as good for some of the other tasks.
It's a fine balance.
Yeah. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that.
I'm excited to use it.
Just over the 4-inch blade. And I mean, the total length is under 9 inches for every, from the top to the bottom of the knife.
Yeah. I think one of the hard things about it has been like the elusive idea of the perfect knife. And
we've kind of let go of that
elusive
idea. Yes.
Because it doesn't exist.
There is no such thing.
And I think just recognizing too, like, some people are going to love this knife, and some people, maybe they have humongous hands that need like a 6-inch handle, or you know what I mean? So it's been,
if you need something that big, then it's not going to be very good for
right
for those smaller tasks. Yes. That was the thing.
So I think just kind of recognizing, like, keeping the elusive idea in mind, yet not dying that. But I mean, which has been, cool with the process of it. It's been a lot of fun.
Gotcha. What's your current favorite knife right now, outside of our own?
Current outside. It's on the spot. Yep. So, okay, I'll put it this way. I would say the knife I use the most currently is, I really like my SEPR4.
Okay.
Patrick Rowlands, I thought, did a nice take of Kepart's design.
Yeah. Do you like the handle on that?
So that's been a point that a lot of people do not like with it.
I feel like I get hot spots with that handle.
So there are some improvements to it that I would do. I would make it just a smidge thicker.
Okay.
And they did the
handle thicker or the blade?
The handle, yes. Okay. Yes. Just so you have a little bit more. I think it would reduce hot spots a little bit.
Yeah.
So they did that handle style. They have another knife. It's the JG5, which is more like a Nesmix style knife, and they have a similar handle. And I don't have that one, but I've heard that the handle is a little bit thicker, and so it has reduced hot spots.
Got it.
So yeah, I mean, like we've been talking about, there are some things that I would improve, personal preference, but I would say that's probably the one I use currently.
Got it. Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've gone back and forth so much. Like I've always loved the SE3 and the SE4. I feel like
those are they're easy.
Yeah, they're great. They're easy. Yeah. They're fantastic knives, but I don't love the steel. Although they're coming out with the S35EN models now, which I actually got.
They've been doing cool stuff with that.
I bought my oldest son one for Christmas, and then proceeded to slice the hell out of myself with it when he jerked it out of my hand accidentally.
Skinned any squirrels with it yet?
Not yet, but yeah, but it's nice. But I don't like the G10 handles and the way it's contoured. So I mean, there's definitely big improvements I think that could be made there. I love the Benchmade Saddle Mountain Skinner. The grind on it, I don't love. I prefer more of just a standard flat grind, or possibly even a convex, but just personal preference.
Right.
But it feels great. I don't like the rich light handle on it.
It's pretty smooth.
Yeah, it's a little too smooth.
Yeah.
As far as like a hunting knife, I'm a big fan of the Argali Serac, which it's just a fantastic
that thing's sick.
Knife. The White River Hunter is great too.
It's got a good feel to it.
Yeah, it's nice and contoured, but it's flared a little bit too much, I think, and I feel like the handle's a little bit big for me.
The swell of the handle,
the swell of the near the pommel. And I feel like it's a little bit too big. I just picked up the Benchmade. What is that? The High Country.
I think that is.
It's a new hunting knife, and it's okay. I like the jimping and everything. It's a good sized blade. I'm not sure what I think about the handle so far. So I've been influenced by a lot of different knives, but they're all kind of that same general drop point profile,
right?
Flat grind and just a comfortable, easy handle. So they're They're all good. Pros and cons.
And this is a perfect example of a great reason to buy a bunch of different knives.
Yeah, so you can see what you like and don't like.
For sure.
Yeah, because I mean, we've gone back and forth. So, I mean, obviously, we had a good idea of what we wanted. Then Jason, our designer, who's kind of helping us get the profile and everything into CAD, so we can go to production with it. But we've gone back and forth as far as
explain what CAD is for people who don't know what CAD is.
Computer-aided design.
Yeah.
Basically, it's the software program that you take from something on paper.
I didn't know what CAD was until we started.
Yeah. So, and it basically is how you get it onto a digital format so that you can either laser cut it or however that's being made. So it's just an easier process, so you can make sure that it's the same knife every time.
Cool.
So when you go to production, you're not hand making every single thing, because we're not trying to be a custom handmade knife.
Yeah.
I mean, because the thing is, those are great, nothing wrong with that, but it's really expensive, very time consuming, and you're going to have little deviations and changes, and it's not going to be the same knife.
That's a cool thing. It's just
somebody wants a collector
style.
piece.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not what we're going for. We're also not trying to mass produce something in China either. We're really not going that route. We're making in the U.S. and everything. That's obviously a priority here.
Yeah, for sure.
The best quality that we can get.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I think as far as like the iterations of the knife, going back and forth. So even like little things like the jimping, like how high should it be?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like right now we're like an inch from the edge of where the blade starts to right before the ferro rod notch that we've added. So somebody can use a ferro rod to light fire.
Yep. And even just like, I mean, adjusting the choil so it's not so deep, just like the little stuff like that.
Because like originally, when we had talked about having like a ricasso finger notch, so we could choke up on it a little bit more, and then we got rid of that. There's just been so many iterations on this to get it where we are now, and we've 3D printed them, and we like it. Now we're going to have the prototype made before we go to full production.
Yeah,
so,
man.
So we're getting really close with it. Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool. It's neat seeing it all just like come together.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when we started talking about it, it's like, okay, so we're actually going to do this. I mean, like, I think we had a text thread going. We're like, all right, let's do it. So
here we go. Yeah.
Just like, I mean, even just seeing the 3D model, and
which is really cool.
Getting the prototype ready here. It's been awesome.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the brand creation process, and as far as building that out and positioning ourselves, and what our values are and things like that, and maybe like some of the other companies that we've looked at for inspiration or that we admire, and because they're doing a really good job of all that. What if there is a company or companies that you think have done a good job either positioning themselves or branding, or give me an example of some of those that you like?
Yeah, a few come to mind. So as far as ones that I think are maybe up and coming, not even up and coming, but I think that are doing a great job. I mean, we talked a little bit about Archery. They're just doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, they got some great knives, and their meat bags are fantastic too.
Yeah, and even like their media stuff. I mean, their
videos,
short films that they're doing,
and their conservation ethic too.
Exactly. So I've been kind of watching them for a couple of years, and it's been really cool to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I would say, I mean, I have a lot of respect for kind of the way they're approaching it, and they're just doing some innovative stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, even like we said, the Sirac there, like, I mean, because we skinned a few deers over deer camp with that thing.
Yeah, and I think too we used it, and it was great. Oh, it worked fantastic.
Yeah.
Good job, Brad. Great use of steel.
Yeah, no kidding. A company that I think has done a really good job at branding and marketing is Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're around like 6 years old, maybe.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. They might be a little.
Yeah, they are killing it. And I'm not really a fan of their coffee either.
I think they're doing some good stuff. It's not my favorite coffee.
That's a perfect example of a company that's got the marketing right, but the product maybe not so much.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is, I mean, you have some huge names that are touting, and what the behind the scenes stuff is for that, I don't know, obviously, but I think they've positioned themselves very well. I mean, they've grown a lot. I think they've got like 200 employees now.
Wow, yeah, that's big, yeah.
And I mean, I feel like they've done a lot in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And it's cool. I mean, they've got the whole veteran thing. So, I mean, they employ a ton of veterans. They give back a ton to veterans. So, I mean, I think they've really done a good job at kind of doing a niche, for what they stand for and who their, target audience is.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing as far as like finding your niche, who your audience is, and creating content and building a brand directed to them. That's definitely the most important thing. Yeah, and there's a lot of companies that create amazing products, but they've just done a terrible job of marketing them, so they're not as well known.
Yeah. And I think that's the interesting thing. You'll find like this amazing little company that has like this terrible website, and you're like, this is the best product I've ever used.
There's a few like that.
Nobody knows about them.
Give me an example of one.
The Purcell Trench Grill. I mean,
it's a fantastic grill, but their website is terrible.
And more power to them if that is what they want to do. Like, I respect the hell out of that. Like, this is what you want to do. You do this a little bit. But it's just like, man, like, how many people could be using this grill?
Yeah. I think they're hand making them though,
which is a whole nother, that's a whole nother, another thing. But yeah, I mean, that's, I would say one that comes to mind. Sure. It's just, you got this great product, but like not many people know about it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And creating a company that is built to scale.
Yeah.
So that you've got the product quality right. Yes. You've got the marketing right. You're positioning yourself. And, you're not just like this little obscure thing that no one knows about, but you also don't want just to build it so big so that you're just trying to you lose your soul, you lose who you are and your product quality. You're trying to scale so much and so quickly so that the quality goes out the window. Yeah. And because you're just trying to hit mass market as much as possible. And we never want to be that.
Right. I think, to touch on that, we even talked a little bit about that last night. One of our buddies was in, we're just talking about Rewild and Gear, what we normally do. Yeah. And just talking about like, why are we doing this? Why do we want to do it? Yeah. And really just trying to, I think just be transparent with it. Sure. And keeping true to why we're doing it. Which I think typically pretty comes naturally to us, of keeping your head on with it and, moving forward.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Like we were having that conversation last night with Mark, the dirty pirate hooker.
The infamous name.
He's very different than us as far as the types of products that he's interested in, or he wants it cheap.
I think he's gotten a shout out each podcast.
Yeah, for some reason, because he looks at it. Yeah, because he looks at it different, which is good.
It's good feedback.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Just because we kind of can all get our head in the same place as far as we have to build the best quality thing possible, and no matter the cost. Granted, we also got to realize that there are certain economic limitations there, and that if we build it like the perfect, best material, everything, then nobody may buy it because it's going to cost $5,000 a knife or whatever. So that's obviously not going to happen. But yeah, having that happy medium there, or that balance of both quality and price, and so that it meets the needs of the consumer we're going after.
Yeah,
or creating products for, I should say.
For sure. What about you? What are some companies you're digging and liking what they're doing? And
I've always liked what Patagonia's done. I mean, there's a lot of things about the company that I don't like as much. They're not big into hunting, which obviously, we're not a hunting brand, but we're obviously big hunters ourselves, and are creating products for people no matter what they want to do in the great outdoors. Right. But as far as how they position themselves and how they've grown, which is great. I think they may have gotten too big and have spread themselves too thin at times. Another company that I love who really positioned themselves as far as their niche and just create amazing quality products is Hilleberg Tents. They're just fantastic.
Yeah, we're talking about them last night.
Yeah, for like 40 years or something, and just some of the best tents on the market, whether it's for camping, for hunting, for just general outdoors. But they're bomb proof. They've used them to summit Everest. You know?
Exactly.
Just amazing quality tents. So just sticking to that type of quality, that's a really admirable quality to me.
Yeah. And I think that's super cool. Like, I think it's a different mentality when you say you're building a brand, because I think the way we're approaching Rewild Gear is like we're building something that we want to be around.
Yeah.
It's not just like, let's do this for a little bit. Let's just kind of go with it and see where it goes. But like, no, we actually want to build a fantastic
and that's the big difference. So coming from a marketing background and seeing the two sides of this equation, you have those who are just brand builders. They want to just build a brand or it's all about the name or the logo or whatever.
Right.
And then you have the other side who are the direct response guys who just want to create the sales letter, just make all the sales.
Yes.
The thing is, it's not either or. You need both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because those companies that stick around the longest are the ones that build a brand that people know. It becomes a household name. Think Coca-Cola, right?
Right.
I mean, Coke has become synonymous for soda. Just the name. It's Kleenex as far as tissues.
That's a great point.
Band-Aid.
Right.
There's different brands that have become so synonymous with the product that they make that you think of them as one and the same. And I'm not saying that we're ever going to be able to do that because we are more niche oriented.
Sure.
But at the same time,
it's like the mindset within the approach.
And then, but also having good copy as far as that's compelling.
Yes.
That puts your message out there as far as what we're doing, why we're doing it, that resonates with the audience, but not just selling something on fear or scarcity based tactics, which I mean, those can be helpful at times, but that's not how you build long-term loyalty and a good customer base where it resonates with them and they want to stick with you forever. They're just buying it because they're scared of missing out or fear of what's the future or things like that.
Right.
And so we want to be more aspirational and not just fear based, which I think a lot of like the kind of survival preparation prepper community, they get into a lot of that fear base and scarcity base. Not that there's anything wrong with that, and that's what they want to do, but are those brands going to be around long term?
It's hard to say.
I think probably not.
Because I think we can make a prediction, but I just don't think that is. I think it's safe to say that is not the model
for sure
we plan on or want to follow. I think when I read great copy, like, I shouldn't feel freaked out like, oh gosh,
exactly.
I think it should be more inspiring rather than I don't know, the opposite.
Right. Exactly.
And I mean, I think to your point, I think it's a both, it's not just focusing on one aspect of it, of push all this product, you know what I mean? It's just, it's cool to see some of these big brands and companies and how long they've been around and how they've done it and just their approach to, filling a need. Yeah.
Well, and there's also a different ethos when a company hits a certain size, when they just have to keep expanding. I mean, what we call line extension, where they're expanding their product offering so much just to try to maximize their revenue. But and then they lose a little bit of who they are as far as what their goal and their mission is and the types of products that they're creating.
Yeah.
And I think that's an easy trap to fall into once you hit a certain size. Like, let's take Snow Peak, for example. They've been around for a long time. They make great cookware. We've liked their cookware. We're hopefully coming out with the cookware line as well that definitely is going to improve upon like what they have. But they have so many different products and so many different things. It's like including clothing and
they do, don't they?
Yeah, they've got stoves and all kinds of different stuff. I mean, it's just so diverse that it's like, okay, who are they? What do they actually do? You know? It's easy to lose track of who you are as you grow and expand. And so just trying to be mindful and to stick with our principles and be very specific with who we are and who our customers are.
We were talking a little bit about that last night too. We were talking about Eddie Bauer and how I was saying, I was talking to this mountaineer and he's summited Everest like numerous times.
Oh, wow.
And so basically Eddie Bauer used to be like a big brand name, like quality name brand back in the day. But then they just, I think they just tried to expand and they got into like Sears and all these big box stores. And so when you said the name Eddie Bauer, I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
But now they're trying to like make a big push of like get back quality, kind of rebrand themselves.
So when I think Eddie Bauer, I just thought he was a designer and is licensing out his name for gear and stuff like that. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, he was an actual guide and like big outdoors dude.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, I think the first time I ever heard about Eddie Bauer was the Eddie Bauer edition Ford Explorer. Like, because that's the car that I wanted when I was 16. I wanted that, the forest green one with like the beige undertones.
Yeah.
The Eddie Bauer edition. It was like the upgrade. Right. It looked nicer and everything. That was like the car that I wanted when I turned 16. I didn't get it, but I should go back and buy one now.
You should
the old school one if I could find one low enough miles.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Oh man, what else we got?
Well, let's we're in 2021 now, and so the world is still a little weird.
It is a little weird. So it's always good to be
prepared for no matter
here.
what comes, and just trying to get in nature as much to avoid all the craziness out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about trips like we want to do this year as far as getting into nature and doing different things.
Yeah.
So I know I've got some that I want to do.
Go, fire away. What do you want?
I really want to do a fly fishing trip this summer, out
idea.
west. Little backpacking, fly fishing, camping and just catching all of our food and stuff like that.
Yep.
That's a big one. Definitely an elk hunting trip out west.
Nice.
I think those are kind of the two big ones that I'm thinking right now.
Cool.
How about you?
Cool. I don't have anything real big in the books yet, or on the schedule, I should say. Probably do some camping trips with the kids.
Yeah.
Get them out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe going to Colorado this summer, possibly. So hopefully do some hiking out there.
Nice.
Fly fishing would be fun.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just got a new fly rod last
Did you?
summer and
Nice.
used a little bit when Adam and I and Mark we were out in near we flew into Jackson Hole. And so
cool.
we were kind of all around like the general Yellowstone, Bridger Teton area. And so we were camping and fishing, and it was just so much fun.
Awesome.
So we did a little fly fishing there. I got a new fly rod while I was out there.
Nice. I've never been fly fishing.
It's the best.
That's what I'm kind of afraid of. Because so when I was looking into getting a bow and reading a ton, devouring information like I do, and I'm interested in something.
Yep.
And everyone's like, "Oh, once you start, you're gonna be hooked."
Yep.
So obviously, I'm hooked with bow, but that's what I'm afraid of with fly fishing. I'm afraid I'm gonna like it too much, and then it's just gonna be another one of those things. Like, oh,
yeah, exactly.
But it'd be fun. Either way.
Good.
Yeah, those would be sweet trips though.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Well, I think we've been going here for almost 40 minutes
Have
or something.
we?
Yeah. So we should probably wrap this one up. Any final thoughts as far as like gear, products, things like that?
Oh man, I'm just excited to launch.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to launch. It's just cool to get out here and I think any chance we have these weekends, and I may get to do the podcast in person is so much better, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
We have to get Josh and I'm out here soon.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Oh, what other thing? We got our logo finalized.
Oh yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, that was
tedious.
We've gone back and forth on that so much. I mean, basically, I had one created, and then when I started imprinting that on different materials to see how it would look, realized this isn't going to work that well, so we need to tweak it. So trying to
thank you, John.
Yeah, trying to keep the wolf concept as far as like rewilding goes, and so I think we've done a really good job with it, and so it should work pretty well on multiple different mediums and materials and things like that. So
that was a big one to
so we just finalized that a week or so ago. 2 weeks ago maybe. Yeah, so that's coming along.
Should start seeing it here soon.
Yep. And so we still got lots of work to do here before launch, and we're going to keep producing podcasts and some other content and stuff like that.
Plugging away.
Yep. Sounds good.
Cool,
all right,
man.
Until next time.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Rewild Gear podcast. You could check out the show notes for today's episode at rewildgearpodcast.com. If you're ready to spend more time in the wild, our line of high-quality, minimalistic outdoor gear can help you do just that. Check us out at rewildgear.com.